If I share my cookie, will you stay with me? Please, I don't want to be alone. The small voice floated across the airplane cabin as passengers settled into their seats. Brielle Montgomery looked up from soothing her 6-month-old son, Owen, to see a little girl in a pink dress standing in the aisle, clutching a chocolate chip cookie in one hand and her father's sleeve with the other. The child's eyes were luminous with something Brielle recognized instantly, the kind of loneliness that lives in children who've lost too much too young. "Sweetheart, the lady has a baby to take care of," the man said gently, lifting his daughter. His voice carried the exhaustion of someone who'd been both mother and father for too long. He was perhaps 33, dressed in an expensive suit that couldn't hide the shadows under his eyes. "But Daddy, she looks sad like us. And you always say kind people help each other not feel so alone." Brielle's throat tightened. The little girl was right. She probably did look sad. She'd been crying in the airport bathroom 20 minutes ago, staring at her phone screen showing her bank balance, $43. The flight to Denver was a last hope. A gallery owner there had seen her paintings online and wanted to meet. But Owen needed formula, and her coat had a broken zipper, and her husband's voice still echoed in her head from 6 months ago. "I didn't sign up to be poor. I'm done." The man, Grayson Montgomery, though she didn't know that yet, met her eyes over his daughter's head. "I'm sorry. She's having a hard time with transition since—" He paused, visibly steadying himself. "Since we lost her mother 2 years ago. Earthquake in Chile. My wife was there doing relief architecture work. She always wanted to help rebuild what was broken." "She sounds like she was beautiful," Brielle said softly. "I'm Brielle, and this is Owen." Poppy's face brightened. "He's so tiny. Was I that tiny, Daddy?" "You were," Grayson said, his voice catching. "Your mama used to hold you just like that." They ended up sitting together. Grayson had purchased 3 first-class seats so Poppy could move around, and he insisted Brielle take the third. "Please, Poppy clearly needs the company, and honestly, so do I." As the plane climbed through clouds, Poppy kept glancing at Brielle, then at her cookie, then back again. Finally, she broke the cookie carefully in half, studied both pieces, then broke the larger half in half again. "You need it more," Poppy said seriously. "You're feeding a baby. My daddy taught me that mamas who feed babies need extra energy. And you look like you forgot to eat." Brielle's eyes filled. She had forgotten to eat. She'd given herself 1 meal a day for 3 weeks to afford Owen's formula. "Poppy, honey, you don't have to," Grayson started. "It's okay, Daddy. Sharing makes people stay. That's what Mama used to say, remember? She said when we share, we make invisible strings that tie people together." Grayson's jaw worked. He looked away, blinking rapidly. "Your mama was very wise," Brielle whispered, accepting the cookie. "Will you tell me about your paintings?" Poppy asked, nestling against Brielle's arm. "Daddy said you're a painter. My mama loved art. She used to take me to museums and tell me stories about the pictures." So Brielle talked about colors and light while Owen slept and Poppy listened with the intensity of a child starving from maternal warmth. Grayson sat quietly, occasionally wiping his eyes when he thought no one was looking. Halfway through the flight, Owen started crying, the particular wail that meant he was hungry. Brielle reached for her bag, then froze. The formula container felt too light. She'd miscalculated. She had maybe 1 bottle left, and the flight still had 2 hours. "What's wrong?" Grayson asked. "Nothing. I'll figure it out." But Grayson was already pressing the call button. When the flight attendant arrived, he said, "Do you have any infant formula in first-class provisions?" "I'm sorry, sir, we don't typically stock." "Then radio ahead to Denver. I need formula waiting at the gate when we land, whatever the baby needs for the next week. Charge it to my account." He handed her a business card. "Mr. Montgomery, I'll arrange it immediately." Brielle stared. "You don't have to do that. I can't afford to repay." "Poppy's right. We help each other not feel alone, Grayson said simply. My wife, she died because she was trying to help children who'd lost their homes. She worked 18-hour days designing temporary shelters, ignoring the aftershock warnings because she said those kids couldn't wait. When the second quake hit, he closed his eyes. For 2 years, I've been angry at her for leaving us, for choosing strangers over her own daughter. But today, watching Poppy offer you her cookie, I realized something. What? Brielle asked. That my wife wasn't choosing strangers over us. She was teaching Poppy, teaching me, that love isn't finite, that helping others doesn't diminish what we give our families. It multiplies it. It creates those invisible strings Poppy talks about. Brielle's tears slipped down her cheeks. My husband left because I wouldn't give up painting. He said I was choosing fantasy over reality, that art wouldn't feed our baby. And I've spent 6 months believing he was right, that I was selfish for still dreaming.